our constitution, our pride. For a minute, I thought it was a congressman who's writing this. So this sudden liberal darling that you have become, and a lot of very prominent liberal thinkers are noticing what they feel is a shift in your ideology. I wouldn't say ideology, but in your thinking. I think your ideology remains of national conservatism, but there's a slight shift in your thinking, especially the praise for Nehru. So I was wondering how that plays out with your thinking and the way you've articulated both a new world order as well as a new kind of civilizational conservatism in India.
Thank you, Kaveree, first of all, for hosting me this year in this Orissa Literature Festival. It is always a pleasure to come to Orissa. It's a wonderful state, beautiful state, but also to come for this session hosted by Indian Express.
We can't have Lit Fest without you.
Yes. So thank you for hosting me. Now, coming to that question about how do we treat history.
Yes.
I, for one, always believed that at least history should be seen from a very non-partisan prism. You can interpret historical events and incidents, but when you narrate incidents, you should be true to them. Making of India's constitution. I mean, I started India's constitution's journey from 1919.
Yes.
That was the first Montagu-Chelmsford reforms came when the Congress, the then Congress, first stood up to oppose it. It was Gandhi who took the decision that no, we should not accept these rules because these were being framed by the Britishers without any involvement of us Indians. How can you frame rules for my country without any involvement of my people? That was his logic. Then he went on to have non-cooperation movement and all that. So that is where the whole journey of making of India's constitution began. So that journey was led by the Congress as a movement. May say that when that Congress movement was taking place and it was it was fighting against the British domination and all, even those who were the founder of RSS was also a part of that Congress. Dr. Hedgewar, the RSS founder, was very much a part of that Congress which was fighting against the British imposition of their rules, their constitution and all. So much so that in 1920, when Congress Adhiveshan happened in Nagpur, Dr. Hedgewar, who became the founder of RSS later, proposed to Gandhi that we should demand complete independence, Purna Swaraj, from the British. Gandhi was of a different opinion. For that matter, I wrote in that book, Our Constitution, Our Pride, that until 1929, the Congress was of the view that we should only ask dominion status. But Hedgewar insisted, no, ask for total independence, no dominion, nothing doing, no trace of British colonialism should be there on our country. Very interestingly, in 2028, Congress came up with a draft constitution, which is called the Patel Report. Nehru Report. Nehru Report was produced. The Nehru Report was opposed by two young Turks in Congress, Jawaharlal Nehru, because Nehru Report was made by Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru's father, opposed by his son, Jawaharlal Nehru, and the other leader was Subhash Chandra Bose. These two opposed that report only on one ground, and that ground was the ground that Dr. Hedgewar took in 1920, that we should not agree for dominion status, we should demand Purna Swaraj. That's why in 1929, Congress passes that Purna Swaraj resolution in Lahore. So why I'm giving this long explanation is, that journey was a fascinating journey. I mean, how we actually insisted upon having our constitution written by us. That fight, when I described, I did mention about contribution of all leaders, whether it was Nehru, whether it was Subhash Chandra Bose, and even Gandhi, all those people. Whatever credit they deserve should be given. We had our issues about, I mentioned those issues also in my book, with Nehru's way of tackling Ambedkar, for example. Hindu Code Bill, how he ditched Ambedkar I gave one full chapter for that. So where the credit is due, there we should give it. That's how we should look at history. It's prone to interpretations. I don't deny that.
But are you suggesting that the Purna Swaraj idea, which was a Congress idea, was actually Hedgewar's idea?
Hedgewar proposed it in 2020 in a meeting.
1920.
Sorry, sir. I'm sorry. 1920, when the Congress Adhivation took place in Nagpur. In 1920, Congress Adhivation happened in Nagpur. Dr. Hedgewar was one of the local Congress leaders. He was also co-organizer of the organizing committee there. So he, in that capacity, had a chance to meet with Gandhi and other leaders. There he proposed that we should only seek complete independence. But Gandhi had this view that it is too early for us to demand total independence. It has to happen probably gradually. Finally, Nehru report agrees for dominion status. 1928 report. Then Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Bose threatened that if you pass this as our report, we will quit Congress. This was the threat given by them. Then that report was withdrawn, and then they went ahead with Purna Swaraj.
So this is a most interesting idea that the RSS in its 100th year is actually acknowledging some kind of collaboration or some kind of understanding with the Congress, which perhaps has been its bitterest enemy.
First of all, the Congress that we are talking about, which played that pivotal role in securing independence for our country, was not a political party.
Yes.
It was a platform.
And Gandhi
And
didn't want it to be a political party.
Gandhi was trying to lead that. Everybody, whether it was a revolutionary or a very radical person like Subhash Chandra Bose, or somebody who is a Hindutva Vadi like Dr. Hedgewar, all of them found that as a very, very potent platform for fight against the British. So Congress was just a platform. That's the reason why many RSS people also used that platform to participate in the independence struggle. Dr. Hedgewar, after starting RSS, went to jail twice participating in the independence movement. Even through 1942, Quit India movement, RSS people found Congress as the platform to, fight for independence and went to jail. Some were killed. All that happened. So it was a common platform. That was the reason why Gandhi, immediately after independence, suggested that this Congress, which was a united platform for all Indians, it had no politics except the aim of independence. So it should not be converted into a political party. It should be disbanded. 27 January 1948. Mark this date. Gandhi dictates a resolution to his disciples to be presented in the proposed Congress Adhivation in the first week of February 1948. In that he clearly says, now that we secured independence, Congress should be disbanded as a political party. 3 days later, Gandhi was murdered. The Congress Adhivation never took place. This resolution never saw the light of the day. Nehru thought, let me milk the fame and the name and popularity of Congress, convert into political party, and get benefit of innocent masses who thought that these are the people who brought us independence, whereas that was not the fact. So during the independence movement, Congress played a pivotal role. We always agreed, but I also add a rider here. When I say we agree that Congress played a pivotal role, what prevents today's Congress to agree that RSS also has had a role to play in that? We did play our role because it was a platform. So in that sense, yes, Congress of that time had everybody as a part of it.
When you suggest that Nehru milked the legacy of Gandhi for his benefit, it is also a fact that you needed a leadership of independent India. And that is where you had the Constituent Assembly and you had all those debates which you chronicle so well. And the fact that it was an all-party debate, that it also included people like Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. But if you have an independent India, you also need a political party to run the government. So it's a bit idealistic to suggest that yes, they ought to have followed Gandhi and disbanded the Congress and kept it as a movement. How else would the government run?
No. First of all, don't forget that Constituent Assembly was created not through any electoral process alone. Each state was asked to nominate 4 people, British provinces, but kingdoms, I mean the provinces, independent states that existed, they were also asked to nominate people. So this was not an elected assembly. Constituent Assembly was not an elected assembly.
But
It was a nominated assembly.
But it was representative.
Representative of everybody.
Yes.
That's why Shyam Prasad Mukherjee was there. That's why there were Muslim League was there initially between 1946 November when it started its proceedings till March. Muslim League was also there in that.
Yes.
Then Muslim League left and went away to Pakistan. So it was a body created by a different process, different method. It was not an elected body in the first place. Now, coming to that question as to why should Nehru not do that, the simple point is Congress is not the personal property of Nehru family. It was not their property. It was the property of whole country. When Forward Bloc went out, no, Subhash Chandra Bose left Congress, he started Forward Bloc. Forward Bloc continued as a political party. Some people like Shyam Prasad Mukherjee went out and started Bharatiya Janata Sangh. They started a party. Nehru and Patel, others would have gone and started a different political party. And in the independent India, contested 1952 elections as a separate party. But for them, it was such a big attraction that if I use Congress name, the whole legacy of independence movement will completely accrue to me. It was a very uneven level playing field. Not a level playing field, an uneven playing field offered to parties at the time of independence, but that's all history. I'm just saying, mentioning it as a part of history, as an argument. You cannot reverse it now anyway, but Gandhi did not want Congress to become a political party, but Nehru wanted it.
But that is well known. I mean, it's a fact. I think people know that there was a difference of opinion. Even on Pakistan, there was a difference of opinion between
In
Gandhi
fact,
and...
very interestingly, you used that Gandhi's legacy.
Yeah.
Gandhi's legacy was essentially exploited by Nehru, whereas Nehru openly told Gandhi, there is a letter he writes to Gandhi, I think on 5th November 1945. In that he writes, Nehru writes to Gandhi, that when I read your Hind Swaraj, I never supported the ideas that you articulated in that. Today, even I worked with so many years also, even today, I don't agree with your proposition like Gram Swaraj, rural upliftment, all these things. These are all very backward ideas. I do not agree with you. We consider him to be the inheritor of Gandhi's legacy, but Nehru was clear that I am not the inheritor of your legacy. I am inheritor of your name popularity.
But I think that's a bit...
It's a fact. I'm giving you facts. Give me a contradictory facts.
No, it is a fact, but I think to suggest that we would run the country as a collection of village republics, which is actually what Gandhiji wanted, perhaps did not suit, the people in power at that point. And it's not just Nehru, it was also Patel. Nehru alone did not take all the decisions. And as you yourself have shown in the Constituent Assembly debates, Ambedkar had a huge role to play, and you point out that despite being so ill, he virtually shouldered the entire burden of drafting the Constitution, and he also said that I would be happy to burn it if I could. So I think the time that you talk about was very different from the time we are in now, and that is what I wanted to focus on. The idea of the pluralism of that time. You also talk about the basic tenets of the Constitution in terms of, judicial independence, democratic institutions. All these seem to be under fire now. We've heard so much about the Election Commission. We've heard so much about, the collegium system in the judiciary. These very tenets seem to be under fire now, under attack now. And you yourself have said that these were brilliant ideas. And you say that it was not part of the colonial hangover, as people say. So what would you have to say to that, given that you have actually praised all these tenets that we have inherited?
Look, first of all, the time argument, that time it was different, this time is different, don't apply it selectively. If you say that, then every argument I will say that. For everything, why RSS did like that, and that time was different. It won't work. History doesn't work that way. In history, if there were mistakes, we have to point out. One need not agree. These are interpretations, I said. History is prone to interpretations. So I had a view, somebody else can have a different view. But coming to that point of Ambedkar's role, why I specifically highlighted it was, these days, it has become fashionable with some people, in fact, in our group also, to say that, no, it's a colonial constitution, nothing of our own was there, etc., etc. Okay, in the process of constitution making, people like B.N. Rao went to different countries, tried to try to understand best practices in those countries, they try to incorporate. But that doesn't make it a colonial constitution. Then I would today say that whole democracy is colonial. One can say that. You have to understand how much struggle went behind making this constitution. Our constitution, of course, is longest, but it took the longest time to make also. We forget. So much of energy was spent on discussing every aspect of it. And in that, Ambedkar's role was very critical. Now, some people even criticize that, no, Ambedkar did not do anything. Somebody else did it. No. Somebody else drafted it. A team of 7 members was constituted to draft it. But even then, out of 7, 5 were always absent.
5 were ill or...
Not some reason. Yeah. Ambedkar had to work day and night to prepare it. But he had to face so many questions. Constituent Assembly debates, see, every third page, Ambedkar standing up and intervening. So much work he did, we should respect it. Now, coming to the important point, as to what happened to the constitution today, I would say, see, certain aspects have been under scrutiny from time to time in the last 25 years. We forget all that. For example, today this whole issue of what is happening with elections, how are the elections, I handled Kashmir. The only reason why Kashmir went into the stranglehold of the terrorists was 1987 election. 1987 election was blatantly rigged by the Congress party. So they used election commission at that time to rig an election. I'm not saying that because they did it, somebody else should do it now. I'm not giving that equivalence. But those who are trying to say that, today something is happening, it never happened before, I said, yes, in history, there were, in fact, my book has one full chapter which talks about how the constitution has been distorted on various occasions. There are 5, 6 occasions I highlighted. Coming to today's case, what is this whole controversy about SIR, you tell me? Today, Election Commission is saying, I will do it across the entire country. Do we agree or not agree? Should we now weed out the names of dead people? Should we not weed out the names of people who have more than one voter ID? Voting name in the electoral list in more than one place? Should we not make our elections more transparent? Tell me one thing. How can election know which party I am going to vote? It doesn't know. Then how can it remove selectively a BJP supporter, Congress supporter? What is this whole tamasha?
But when you have multiple people voting from one identity, multiple use of one identity, then it's a problem, right?
So that whole SIR process is only limited. It's a time-to-time exercise. It is only limited to weeding out, the names of dead people.
That is SIR.
So that is the whole process.
We're talking about the other issue of multiple use, what the Congress calls vote chori.
No, so the problem is, in India, elections don't take place at one time.
Yeah.
And you vote in one particular state now, after 3 months, once this mark is gone, you go and vote in another state in 3 months again. You are voting at multiple places. Today, India has close to 98 or 99 crore voters. Let us first of all see, do we really have so many voters, or there is so much of duplicacy also happening? If the duplicacy is there, what is the harm in weeding it out, removing it? That process has to happen. Why controversy over that? How can Election Commission take out only select people? How is it possible?
So you're saying that the Election Commission, the judiciary, these are all as independent as they were intended to be?
I think so. I'm just going through a very interesting book on Supreme Court and other courts, how justice is being delivered or denied. It's a very interesting compilation of articles. These institutions have been under scrutiny from time to time. Media has its own way of scrutinizing whether Supreme Court is doing its job correctly or not, whether Election Commission is doing its job correctly or not. But with those watchdogs in place, these institutions are supposed to be as independent as they can be. They are definitely independent.
Let us move a little away from this and look at the new emerging world order. And you've been talking about it, you've been talking about regional blocs, you've been talking about the idea of conservatism, an Indian idea of conservatism. That now famous picture of Mr. Modi with Xi Jinping and Putin, which has gone viral and which is the whole world is talking about it. What does it say about India's foreign policy? You've been advocating strategic autonomy for the longest time. Is it an opportunity for India, or is it really India making the best of a bad job?
India under Prime Minister Modi decided to pursue the foreign policy in a very autonomous way. That is what the foreign minister called as strategic autonomy.
Yeah.
What strategic autonomy essentially meant was, I will decide about my relationship with any other country purely on a bilateral basis. I won't bring any third country. I don't look at my relationship with a given country from the prism of a third country. That is what is called strategic autonomy. It was a very, very bold idea when it was articulated and initiated. But today, it's in a way compulsion for us. In the kind of a very volatile, fragmented world, how can you decide to side with anybody? You have to be autonomous. And by the way, here I give credit not only to our government, but to all the successive governments. We have always maintained some amount of neutrality. We never joined any bloc. Those who know about the bloc politics of last century,
Yeah.
There was a bloc of the
We were
Soviets and
non-aligned.
we never joined. We remained. Only problem was when we said non-aligned, we were neither here nor there. We were a neither here nor there group.
So
but
now
today,
we're firmly
strategic
in
autonomy
China's
is
camp.
now. So we are here also, there also. So
How are we here with Mr. Trump behaving the way he does?
You see, there will be. We had similar issues with other countries also occasionally. Since you mentioned about Trump, even about America, let me remind, lots of youngsters are there. Read the history of US-India relations. We have seen such ups and downs in the past also, Kaveree.
Especially Nixon and Mrs. Gandhi.
Very good that you mentioned about Nixon.
They had the most fractious relationship.
Nixon's time was one of the most difficult times in
Yeah.
our relations. Then later came Clinton's time.
Yes.
When we tried the nuclear bomb, Clinton was furious. Clinton used everything to suppress us. So there were
so many
occasions.
sanctions.
This was a phase, I think, and it will pass. But that doesn't mean we will now move to USA again, we leave them. No, we always maintained that neutrality. We always maintained that autonomy. So today we are reading a little too much into one photograph because of the situation. But we all know that before 2019, Xi Jinping and Modi had such good equation that you remember 2014 he came to Ahmedabad, they were together on a jhula. You called it jhula diplomacy.
Who can forget that image?
Yes, jhula diplomacy. So we had our relations with all countries. We had good relations with them. Of course, except one or two neighbors. But otherwise, we had good relations with all our big countries in the world. That is what is the essence of strategic autonomy. I only added, today, it's also a compulsion for us. Because there is no powerful bloc anymore in the world.
So how does India negotiate this new world order? You've been studying it for the longest time. And I also note that you've always looked at it as a continuous process. You've also acknowledged former Prime Minister and late Prime Minister P.V.R. Narasimha Rao's role. You've talked about the Look East policy. You've talked about Manmohan Singh's role as well. So you've seen this as a continuum. Where are we now? Are we again neither here nor there, or will we keep shifting as the wind blows us?
Oh, no. You see, I do agree that foreign policy is a continuum. Every government adds an important dimension to
Right.
it. And the current government's contribution, I said, is in the form of two things. One is strategic autonomy. Second one was supposed to be neighborhood first.
Yes.
On neighborhood first, I would say we have challenges today. We have some
Many
difficulties
challenges,
today.
I would say.
I don't deny that.
I think we are perhaps at the lowest ebb in our relationships with our neighbors.
You know, we do have challenges, I do agree, in our neighborhood policy. Probably we have to invest more in, addressing these challenges. These things happen when you are neighbors, these things always happen. But to that main question as to what will be the, is it a challenge or an opportunity? I would say this new world that is emerging is also going to offer a great opportunity to our country. India has to now brace up. India has to prepare for this new world. There is a huge opportunity awaiting. But for that, India has to prepare. If we prepare in next 10 years, India will be in a very good position to play a very pivotal role in the world. I would say starting from 2035. But how do we behave in next 10 years is critical. I said in my book, I said next 10 years, we should only talk about three things.
Yeah.
Economy, economy, economy. Only that. When I say economy, students are here. Economy involves research, R&D.
Yeah.
Economy involves innovation. We have to invest in that. We are doing so much. I mean, Prime Minister is pushing very hard, pumping a lot of money, but it has to be a whole of the nation approach. You have a university partner here. Universities have to take up this responsibility. Entrepreneurs have to come forward. We have to do a lot of hard work for 10 years for India to really exploit the emerging new order and emerge as a real good player. We are very romantic people. We think nothing short of Vishwaguru. Of course, we are capable of becoming Vishwaguru, but Vishwaguru is not an automatic label that will come to us. We have to strive to become that. The striving period is 10 years.
Yeah, and I think you've been somewhat quite realistic when you talk about our strengths and our weaknesses, which is very interesting. You've been talking about how we make 1.5 million engineers a year, but we don't have what you call Imagineers, which is a wonderful word that you've coined, and I think you should talk a little more about it. But this whole idea that perhaps we are missing this opportunity. And a lot of people have said that you are in fact preparing for a post-Modi era. Is that true?
Come on. When will your father die? No. He is the leader of the whole country. People love him and he will be there. And for the party is the greatest strength and asset. So there is no such thing that what is post-Modi era or post somebody else's era. He's there, he's the leader, he's leading the country in a very visionary way.
75 age barrier is emerging.
No, I don't think, not just India, the whole world today has leaders who are capable, who can run the country in the matters of governance. I wrote in one of my articles, that very interesting repost of Ronald, it was Reagan, I think. Reagan was 79 or something when he went for the second election, and his opponent was much younger. So the questioner asked, your old age, your, whatever it brings, will it make you doubtful about your ability to govern? And Reagan says, no, I am not going to exploit the youth and the inexperience of my opponent for political purposes, he says, and in a jocular way. Also, it has a meaning. In governance of a country of this size and this diversity, you need experience, you need vision, you need maturity, which comes with years. So, we don't have to decide that, this is the cutoff year for you to be something in the politics. While saying that, I would say more and more youngsters needed to come up. And in that, I can take a little credit. I means not me, this government. Today, the average age of this cabinet is 58. It came below 60 after many, many years, I think for the first time, if I remember. So we have to bring it further down. Maybe more younger people have to join the government and politics and all. But that doesn't mean seniors should simply retire or go away.
So I think just coming back to the idea of how do we prepare, you have been, as I said, somewhat realistic about the fact that we are not doing enough. We have good ideas, but when it comes to implementation, the idea of industry, academia, for instance, the connect, all these things haven't quite worked out. Tell us a little about how you hope that this will work out in the next 10 years, as you see, which are critical.
No, we have to become a nation in a hurry. You know, to be in a hurry is not wrong. There will be occasions when you should really be in a hurry because you will miss the bus. If you are a little delayed
It's
and
not
bus
even
is
a
already
bus now, it's a high-speed rail, it's a bullet train.
Of course. Anecdotally, I'm generally saying. So we have to really today brace up. Prime Minister has been pushing the country into thinking on those lines. You know, just read his speech from the Red Fort on 15th August. He talked about the vision. But that vision, he is not going to achieve alone. He wants the whole country to now take that as the mission. In a mission mode, we have to work. In that, I'm saying it has to be a whole of the nation approach. When I say whole of the nation, let me clarify. Government at the national level, visionary government we have, visionary prime minister we have. We need to have a similar approach at the states. Our states have to brace up today. Orissa has to brace up today. I know some states are now talking in terms of 1 trillion economy, 3 trillion economy. It is, talking is one thing. You have to take steps in that direction. Then our corporates have to come forward. Do you know? I feel very sorry that
There's
our
the largest
corporates...
flight of our corporates to the West currently.
Yes. But Indian corporates are so very strong. But how much are they really investing in R&D or innovation in these areas? We need to think about that. You need to think about our youngsters. They should not only aspire to become engineers, they have to become Imagineers. How do I create something new? That is what is called innovation. In Innovation Index, thanks to the push given by Government of India, we have advanced a little bit. But our innovation still remains largely imitation. It's not real innovation. So we need to really think of going ahead of the curve. We are followers of the curve. We want all those things that the world achieved. We want bullet train in India. We want metro in India. But remember, bullet train ran in Japan in 1960s.
Yes.
Metro ran in the world in Germany in 1936. We are catching up. We have to catch up. We have to do all those things. But how do we go ahead of the curve? How do we set the precedent for other countries to follow? There we have the capacity, but we also have lethargy. Because we are a dreaming people.
Yes, so we dream of being Vishwaguru, but we aren't one as yet. Is that the sum of what you're saying?
No, we have the ability, capability, we have the wisdom, we have everything, but no, Vishwaguru, that's why I said Vishwaguru is not something that you call yourself.
The world
has to call you Vishwaguru. For that, you have to rise to that level. I said in my book, we can close here, 4 things I said. We need to create absolute unity in the country to be really respected by the world. Number 2, we have to build a strong economy. We have to build unity, we have to build prosperity. Prosperity involves R&D, innovation, enterprise, investments, all that. We need to build security, a strong, secure nation. 4th, we need to build a dignified India. Are we a dignified nation today? We have to think on those lines. Are we a rule-abiding nation? Are we Prime Minister started that Swachh Bharat, Clean Up India. How clean are we today, even today? How efficient are our systems today? We have to build a dignified Bharat. Then we aspire to be that, what we call as Vishwaguru. So for that, it has to be a whole of nation effort, and whole of nation also we have to be in a hurry. We are very leisurely. We are very romantic, very lethargic, and we assume that by somehow Modi ji will make India Viksit Bharat by 2047. He will, whatever he can do, he will, and he is already doing it. But what about us? That's what I'm saying. This country needs to be in that mode of, hurriness and all that. Why I'm saying is, I just give one example. What China is today is just because of 2 decades of 1980s and 1990s.
Yes.
In 1980s and 1990s, they changed the mode. They moved in such a fast way, and they became utterly pragmatic. No romantic at all. Utter pragmatism. Utter pragmatism. What is good for my country is what I will do. No ideology, no philosophy, nothing. Only good of the country. In 20 years, China changed, and where it is today is because of those 20 years. I would say, for us, those 20 years began in 2015. We already completed 10 years. Another 10 years we will get. We have got the momentum, but this momentum has to be further enhanced.
So, as I said, you're preparing for a post-Modi era.
No, this is not post-Modi or anything. Modi ji is there, he will be there as long as he will be there, but it has to be the whole nation approach, I'm saying. The whole nation has to now
And a new
catch up with him.
And a new kind of civic culture, as you said.
Oh, that of course is very important. I mean, we need to build the dignified Bharat, the dignified India. It's a big subject, but it has to be a focus
Yes.
for everybody.
So I would urge all of you to read the book and see some very interesting ideas that have emerged, which make you question some of the things that we've believed in for long. I have a question from Dr. J.M. Rao, which I'll ask quickly. The British changed the name of Kalinga Mahasagar to the Bay of Bengal. In the near future, can we expect to change back to the original name?
So,
I think this is a very specific question, specific to Odisha.
Yes, I mean, colonizers have done so many
Yeah.
things. What is within our jurisdiction we can do, but these oceans are also, oceans don't belong to any one country alone, just as South China Sea doesn't belong to... No.
all kinds of gulfs.
Yeah, of course. Trump has many things to think and talk, but today they are all international property. They are called global commons. In global commons, you give whatever name you want to give, but world follows a particular pattern that has to be kept in mind. But more important is, since you asked about Bay of Bengal or Indian Ocean, that is the real playground for India. The entrepreneurs here, the political science or international relations people here must understand one thing that we completely ignore is our oceans around us. Do you know that 95% of India's imports and exports happen through Indian Ocean? 95%, because we are a landlocked country. Except Myanmar, we don't have any other way to go out. So, but our attention is very minimal. Otherwise, a state like Orissa, a state like Andhra Pradesh should have fully exploited the oceans in this sense that should have ocean-centric policies, ocean-centric programs, should have developed our ports, used them to export, import, everything. West Coast has done it. If you go to Gujarat, every coastal major town is a port today. Maharashtra is the same. Kerala, with some difficulty, is also doing. Karnataka is making effort. Eastern coast, this Bay of Bengal side, we have not done enough. We have to do much more. I'm saying these are the new ideas on which we work. Not get stuck in that idea. Name change होने से पूरा हो जाएगा. Name तो change हो जाएगा, but काम तो वही रहेगा.
Yeah.
What decision? What?
To Kalinga Mahasagar, which was there for centuries. But can we expect or any proposal for that?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? There can be maybe state government can move that proposal. We can definitely do that.
Why state government? Why not central government?
Yeah, definitely. Good idea. I will definitely take it up.
Yep, please.
By the way, he's not part of the government. You should know that.
But I don't know how many of you know
Yeah.
that the kind of relations the Kalinga Empire enjoyed with countries in
exactly.
this region.
Or the
I don't know if you know
Cholas,
about
yeah.
it, or you are only limited to changing the name. Name, of course, it can change, but Kalinga Empire had relations with today's Vietnam, today's Cambodia, today's Sri Lanka, and even you have that Bali Yatra today's up to Bali and Indonesia, the entire Indochinese peninsula. How much work happens in that is to be something taken up seriously.
And
Why I'm saying
studied.
is, we have a project in India Foundation on which we are working on Kalinga Champa relations. We found hardly any good scholar in Orissa who has done much work on it. You have to do that. That also has to happen simultaneously in the universities here, because that can build a strong bilateral ties with those countries. Then you can probably do good exports to Vietnam.
So that's a great challenge for the audience. Thank you so much, Mr. Dr. Ram Madhav. It's always a pleasure. Thank you.